Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Is the headphone mic working? Yes, it is. What's good? How we doing? We got a new animated emote. We actually got two, but the other one still hasn't been approved yet. Hope everybody's doing good. Let's get right to it today. Yet again. I could keep saying every day. I really should make like my a new monster patch video. I actually haven't in a while. What's the Discord like in there? Seems like it's been pretty quiet. I mean, that makes sense, right? The devs probably like working and chipping away. Dude, I'm so excited for that game still. I need to collect up all the pictures and stuff I have that I've saved up from that Discord and make like an official like YouTube video. That's some kind of just like, hey, here's like everything I've seen by like being in the Discord, and like here's all the work the dev has done. Is looking good. Who's excited? Yo, 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 what's good, Snake? How you doing, yo? Hope you're having a good day. I'm chopping down some trees and cleaning up the yard in the game a little bit. Fucking oak leaves, man. Oak leaves! I'm doing good though. I just got up like an hour ago or so. Yeah, more like 2 hours ago now, I think. Chilled, did some little morning routine. I have not gotten food yet though, so I am a little hungry. We'll probably do that in just a little bit. Oh, I need to drink a little bit of water in the game. But I'm cleaning up the yard of all the oak trees. Because I too am tired of this. I have good liquid inside. What am I doing? I played for a little bit last night, and I'll show you what I discovered here in a minute. Oh, what are you doing out here, bro? Get back in the fucking... Get back in there! Get back in there, god damn it. Oh, we'll deal with that in a minute. Oh, wait, I can just eat some of these. Yeah, I'm about to clear this shit out. I'm about to just get rid of every single oak tree. I am not about it. Where is my jugs? I need jug. There we go. Okay. Boom. I figured a couple things out. I learned with one of the crude, with Brady's crude design elements, we have scaffolding, right? So I made scaffolding to get over different parts of my yard. I did it right there, and there's also a scaffold right here to be able to just get over the yard. And so I super recommend this, so that way we all have better base defense. Because that's just huge, because drifters have not been able to climb up and over that yet. So that's the cutty way to, like, the clever way to, like, make, like, a ladder against a fence, since you can't literally put a ladder against a fence, which kind of annoys me, but whatever. That will do. I also designed a little more of my forge area. It's back. So now for all of your forging and copper needs, it'll be right out here. I need to finish up the roof on it, though, so it doesn't get rained on as much. I also put an ass load of stuff down here if you need any of it. We got sticks, we got firewood, we got some different stone types, we got a ton of peat, we got some clay stone. It's good. And then I started the mine again, and I was messing around with what the support beams do. I think this is pretty funny looking. I love that. It really looks like a real mine now whenever you have, like, stuff like that. But apparently, I forget if I did this yesterday on stream or if it was off stream, but there's some, like, uranium and stuff down here, so I want to, like, find it at some point. I think I did a lot of this on stream. And now it finally... So today, it finally stopped raining, and it's only going to stop raining for today in the game, and I think it's supposed to rain for another, like, 7 to 10 days in a row again. I think with a couple of the mods we have, uranium actually does have a handful of uses. Because I know in the base game apparently it has, like, almost no use. But I'm pretty sure I got a handful of mods that make it pretty useful. Damn, we already broke through a whole axe, and I just made that one. I just realized the thing that's going to fix our entire issue with this oak tree, like, cycle. I got Dana's tweaks, right? And in Dana's tweaks, it has an option to allow default game seeds to auto-plant themselves when they've been on the ground for a second or two. So I think if we turn that off, then these oak tree pest forests will stop. So where is the tree seed planting? Auto plant dropped tree seeds. Alt. Okay. I'm gonna reset the server real quick. And then after that, tree seeds won't auto plant anymore. Now, it moved over to you. That's funny. Or actually, yeah, we'll just turn it completely off. We'll choose to plant it. Because I could increase the drop seed delay so it takes way longer. But I think for now, we'll just turn it off. And then after a while, maybe we'll turn it on and I'll put like a 10 times longer window. So that way, let's say you're collecting seeds and stuff and you forget one or two, cool, that one auto plants. That sounds fine. Actually, we'll just do that now. True. And we'll put it at 50,000 millisecond delay. Actually, we'll put it at 80,000. Okay. So I'm going to restart the server real quick. 3, 2, 1. All right. So now tree seeds will auto plant after like literally like a minute of chilling on the ground. And I think that makes way more sense. Because now that will prevent the oak tree plague forests a ton more. Nice, nice. You should also write a comment on the wildcraft trees so that way they nerf the shit out of the fucking leaf drops. Here, I can get the mod for you real quick just so you don't gotta search for it. It's kind of annoying to search for that one. Wildcraft trees. If you want to put a comment there about the fucking leaf drops, I'd appreciate it.
Huge.
Nice, much appreciated, yo. All right, we're back. All right, let's go see if we can finish up. Fricked, bro. There we go. Oh no! You get slapped by yours? Was that yours? Classic, right? Happens all the time with my horses too. Very defensive. Oh man, the storm's rolling back over. You can see it, look. That's honestly really cool, though. What's good, Clocan? How you doing, yo? Hope you're doing well, yo. Bro, I swear, Emmy has so many emotes, it's crazy. Oh, of course, the wind put the torch out, of course. So we can put firewood up right over here. Frog. Oh, it's a dead frog. Ah. I'll put this inside. Yes, I do. So if you have any fruit, I can definitely take that and get some seeds from it. At least for sure for all the base game ones, and I think for most of the mod ones. Sounds good. Let me grab my knife. I think it's outside. Yeah, there we go. Cool. I'm gonna get rid of these feathers. Storm looks like it's rolling back in. And what's the fucking rain command? When will the rain stop command into story? When will it stop raining? That's it. Is there more weather commands? Stop rain. No, I don't want to change any of the weather patterns. Oh, that's cool. Interesting. Okay, so there's a good amount of weather commands. Yeah, I know what I'm gonna do right now. We're going to... Oh, that's out of fire. Yeah, it's... Aha, I see ya. Nice. Yo, yo. Ooh, nice copper spear. I've been thinking of making a trident up next. Ooh, a pomegranate? Interesting. Oh, I can't with this one. Interesting. Okay, wait, let me H. Yeah, you can't with the pomegranate. Interesting. Let me pass it back to you. And that looks like it's a base game food. Where'd you find that? Was that on a plant around here, or did you buy it from a trader? What the? Wait, what the heck? Wait, how do we tame this? In a hollow tree stem. Interesting. Perhaps a trader would pay well for the companionship. Interesting. Okay. But you can trade them. Here, I'm gonna pass it back to you. You can keep the curse of the puppy. I know the ones in the fauna of the Stone Age we can tame. And we have dire wolves somewhere that can be tamed. That's part of one of the mods, but we haven't, I don't think, come across any yet. Ah, freaking. Alright, we're gonna use this. I should make a couple more of these. Oh yeah, that's what I was doing. Where did I end up blasting those? I don't even remember. Is it over here? I made 4 bowls, and I do not remember where I ended up putting my pit kiln. I think maybe down here. Hello. Awesome. Okay, now where's the fat? I know that there's some animal. Aha. I'm running real low on animal fat, but that's all right. Let's get a good. No, I have a good meal upstairs. I just cooked. Boop boop. All right. Well, I got a shit ton of wood now. There we go. Okay. Grab a meal. If you need any food, there's some extra bowls in this shelf right here. Bottom right. Yeah, I have no idea what that is for, but I guess we'll find out one day. I assume a windmill, right? I think it switches power from like one direction to another, but I'm not certain. We'll find out one day. Also some. Oh yeah, do you want to so if you ever come by and you want to grab a drink, all the wine is down here so far. I'm about to make a lot more because it looks like a lot of the fruits out there are blooming. I honestly need to make a few more barrels. I really like these clay barrels though. They're really cool. They only have 40 instead of 50, but that's fine. I like how they look. They're very cool. And my dog fell down here. That happens way too much. Oh, I can color them? Nice. Yeah, I definitely want to color them. That'd be sick. Frog. Yeah, he's just been down here chilling. I haven't been able to get him out. But he's deprived of light, so he's probably gonna die, as it says. 07, buddy. Poor frog. Oh, something's dying on the bushes. Classic. Dude, I wish I could easily get the dog out of here. It's so difficult. Come on. Maybe I can do it this time. Come on, buddy. Come on. Ooh, wait. You're actually going the right way this time. Hello. You're not being stupid. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get out of here. Come on. You're not an underground dog. Oh. Push. Come on, bro. Did you bash down the, this dirt right here? Sweet, thank you. Okay. We almost got him. Oh, come on. Go this way. He should eventually follow. Yeah! Primo! Alright, come on, stupid. Okay, we're back. I'm just gonna leave him in the yard because I don't want him to fall down in there anymore. But oh yeah, I ended up I got a ton of honey. I want to do another round of honey before it's too late, but we have 3.6 liters now. So that's not too bad. So many systems and things to learn in this game. I was just feeling like, man, I probably have too many oak logs because I think I have 1,000 oak logs now, but I was realizing that's barely like a few buildings worth of wood, right? Like that's insane. Yeah. Ooh, cacao, that'd be cool. Here, yeah, come up here if you ever need any oak. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. That one's birch, but like, I got like stacks of oak right now. I think there's a ton in storage. I was just... No, that's European yew. Maybe I actually don't have as much oak as I thought. But I have a ton of wood right now. Yeah, I got to, I'm gonna go and saw through all the yew logs. Yes, and I bought like an ass load of glass. That was whenever the building traders near you had a ton for sale, and I had like 12 gears that I had grinded from the drifters. So I just bought all of their stacks of glass. You made glass? Nice! I still gotta do that. I also want to learn how the quartz, like, magnifying glass thing works for starting fires. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go make my axe real quick. 1 second. Oh wait, what? Yo, I just found out something. So this is just, I mean, it's a cool time saver. So I had the copper axe head in my inventory and selected right, and then I just right clicked on a pile of sticks and it instantly became a copper axe. I didn't even have to put it in the grid. It just turned into one. That was really cool. I love stuff like that, so that way I don't have to use the crafting grid. I hate doing that. I think I'm going to, I'm chopping up a bunch of firewood to have as backup, and then I'm going to make a bunch of oak planks and European yew planks. And I think I might head east and make a little cabin. I was also thinking of learning and seeing if we have enough materials to make one of those tents from the tent mod that I have. How do we make plain cloth, linen cloth, sewing kit? Dude, we are under attack. Let's head inside. Dude, I wonder if Thug is gonna get back on. Oh, you're still outside. I wonder if Thug's gonna get back on, because it's been a minute. I sent him a message last night, but he didn't say anything. I just said, hope you're doing well. But he did not reply. And I just... I was about to do something, but I already forget what. What was I about to do? Was it something with all these? Oak. Oh yeah, I was going to see if I could make a tent at all. So we have all this. We need to go get sticks real quick. I'm gonna put these planks up. I mean, I still don't get why he was so weird with what he said in chat like a few days ago. I don't get it, man. Ugh. Oh yeah, sticks. We're getting sticks. Stick. So to make a tent, an empty tent bag, we need a plain cloth, Just make a plain cloth. We need linen stitch and a stick. How to make linen stitch? What? How do you make these? Do you know how to do all this linen stuff? Linen. Oh, I assume so, because you made a linen sack. Oh, I see. Okay. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah, that's cool. And then 1. What? Huh? Okay, well, we will take that. Tent. Plain cloth. Plain cloth. Oh, cool. Okay. Okay, we're getting somewhere. I need a bunch of rope, so give me 1 second. Rope. Where is... Okay, so there is that. Boop. Okay, we got 2 rope. I swear I had a bunch of cordage somewhere. Ah, well, that would all help. Okay, and then tent. And then sticks and... Okay. Doot. Oh my god! Okay. Let me eat my food real quick. Okay, and then we're gonna test this out. I was also trying to test out sailboat crafting last night too, but I couldn't get it down. Let's see here. What? Huh? How does this work? Wait. Let me try something. So I just... What? What? Oh, so okay. So you have to like build your own. I see. How interesting. So you have to build your own tent. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. Well, we got that for the future. That's really cool. I am afraid of putting it down because I don't want it to take my home. Well, that was pretty cool. Yo. Nice. Ugh. Okay, let's see. Oh, is the sun coming out? Nice. I am going to saw more of these. There's no way I just heard a fucking rooster crow. Good morning. Bro, what? How did I just hear a cockle-doodle-doo from a fucking rooster? What the fuck? Bro, I love our server. This is great. I don't have any other like YouTube videos open or anything. I just heard like I was like, what? Dude, this shit's fun. There's a lot to do here, which is nice. I really do want to open it up. I want to work on that being one of the next things, is getting this to be like some kind of public server so that way people can come in. We just gotta figure out the nitty-gritty details of how to approach that. The other idea might just be to set spawn far enough away from this where people don't feel encouraged just to come into our shit and grief us, but instead just go and do their own thing. So maybe I'll put spawn like up here or over. Maybe I'll put it back at Mount Olympus. And I'll make people just wander wherever they want. Farther south? Yeah, that might be the play too. I also know from when I was playing this on single player and flying around, there's another big continent up north. If you go across this ocean, there's another one over here. Maybe we could just drop people in another continent. And just let people just come in and do whatever. And be like, yeah, man, you gotta travel like 45 minutes to get to us. That's the tax, so you don't grief the shit out of us. You gotta waste 45 minutes. And what's even funnier nowadays is since we have the Mosasaur mod, if they go across the ocean, they also have to deal with a bunch of Mosasaurs. And apparently there's also like sharks and orcas too. But I know there's mosasaurs out there. Oh, you've seen the sharks? Nice. That's good to know that they're spawning. Dude, I would go into Thug's house and just take some of his, because I think he ran around one time and picked it up because he had legit like 100 flint in one of his crates one time. It's down to like 50 or something now. But I would just go take like 10 or 20, especially since we don't know the next time he's getting on. Started raining again, didn't it? I knew it. You know, I'm surprised it hasn't hailed yet. I remember at one point when I was playing it, maybe it was another world that I had. But I remember it hailed one time when I was playing. Maybe it just doesn't on this one, and maybe it was the other world I was on. The like 300 hours in the game are starting to blend together. Yeah, I've only seen that a handful of times. It mostly seems like it happens in these more like gravelly kind of biomes. So I would check these out for flint and stone. Flint and steel! Flint and steel! So one of my long-term plans is I'm gonna dig into the cliffside here and put a ladder all the way up and build like a tower right up here. That's the plan. No, I haven't yet. I'm gonna wait until it comes out on DVD or whatever and then pirate it. I just keep hearing all the memes and one of the streamers I watch literally cannot stop making references to it. So now I can't stop, and that's why we have Chicken Jockey. I've rated him a couple times. It's Simply is one of the legitimately like one of the funniest streamers on Twitch, bar none, period, on the whole platform. The dude is hilarious. He makes a really good like stream environment. Everybody's funny in his chat. He bans the fucking weirdos pretty quick. Dude's a good streamer. Yeah, I need to... It's berry gathering time. Okay, wait. I need to get my cart. I know exactly what we're about to do right now. It's just that time. Come here, you. Empty, empty. Flowering, empty, empty. Okay. That's fine. Ripe, ripe, ripe. Yeah, I'm gonna wait until it's out. Also, highly suggest building one of these basket cart things, by the way. That way you get like one extra like inventory space around like your base. But it does mean you can't run anymore. So it has its downside, right? Like my sprint is super nerfed. I do not run fast anymore. But that's fine. I would rather have this wheelbarrow. I am the farmer. I bring us tidings and food. Dude, I do appreciate you, Snake, for like constantly getting on and playing. I'm glad you enjoy playing on the server together. Take it. There we go. You know what's an endgame item I can't wait to get? Is the rift warder, so that way these rifts finally go away. That will be good. That will be a good day. Yeah, very welcome. Yeah, eventually there are rift wards that you can make. Ah. Okay, good. Is all safe. Hello, open card inventory. There we go. Okay, there we go. Pop it. Oh, stupid rift. Come on, man. Get out of my yard. I'm busy. Don't you see I'm busy? I do not have oil. What in the world? Oh, what the cockatrice? Nice. Are you able to? I think we do have oil in some way. I just don't know which of the like mods it is. It might be part of vintage engineering. I know that's one that it could be. The best way to always check it out is whatever that item is, open up the handbook and search for it, and it will mention the mod that it's from if it's a dedicated mod item. Yeah, so in the long term, if you and I and maybe we get a couple more people, obviously, and if Thug ever comes back, in the long term, basically, right, we have a lot of just the fucking cockatrice, man. We have a lot of end game stuff available to us with all these mods, but it's just gonna take us a long time to get there. But it will be worth it. Right, I like that too. That sounds perfect to me. Because I don't want a lot of the, I don't like the end game being made easier. I like this game where it's like a little hard, honestly, in the beginning. Yes, we made it. Sweet. Okay, come on, cart, out of the way. To interact with the gate. There we go. Nice. All right. Take you inside. What shall be the first one? Looks like blackberries are the ones that I have the most of. Actually, I know which one should actually come first. The black elderberries I have been sitting on for weeks. You up. Oh yeah, wait, I don't even have to go that way anymore. We can go this way. Get out of the house. Get out of me house. Get back in the yard. Get back in the yard. Right here, for the sake of FPS, we'll turn the freaking shadows off. We were going in here, that's right. It's time. These guys, you have been sitting around forever. And the time is now. Where's a bucket? We need a bucket. Boop. 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 Cool. Okay. These FPS drops I keep getting. Let's turn off that. Let's do. You heading out for a bit, Snake? One, 6, 16. Ah, gotcha. So short break. Okay, so how about we try this again? Perfect. Okay. Now, let me see which of these I can't see. Sure. So strawberries for sure. man, I had to stand up and stretch. Oh, buddy. Okay. I'm gonna go get food real quick. Disconnect from this real quick so I don't starve in the game. I'm gonna put a little be right back thingy up for us. Yeah, I'm getting hungry. Breakfast is finally wearing off. Whoa, wait. Okay, wait.
What's up, guys? It's been a while.
No
4.5
way.
years exactly. If you're watching Channel 5, it hasn't really been a while, but I have good news.
Jesus Christ! Everybody feel like that.
As of today, I, Andrew Callahan, am officially the owner and sole proprietor of All Gas No Brakes.
Yes!
Which is officially now an affiliate program of our news network, Channel 5.
Channel 5 Live Worldwide.
Yes!
We don't fuck with costers.
I like money.
If they start shooting, get behind me.
It's back!
Every one of them myself.
He owns it again!
Spring break forever!
This comes after we struck a reasonable deal with our former parent company, Doing Things Media, who created the show with us in 2019.
I actually am a little bit Indian.
Surprise, motherfucker! Free take.
Surprise,
Are you
motherfucker!
vaccinated?
I want to get you fucking lit and then put your butt in my mouth.
Back then, if you guys can remember, they funded the business side while me and a couple friends did creative. And many of you guys also know that we parted ways with Doing Things after a bitter contractual dispute in 2020, which effectively pumped the brakes on the gas. But since then, I'm happy to say that we have squashed the beef.
Wash the beef. Wash the beef.
Which resulted in their very gracious willingness to accept a fair deal for the IP, catalog, brand rights, and social media pages for All Gas
Nice,
and the RV.
dude.
So shouts out to them, but also shouts out to you guys. I mean this from the bottom
Good.
of my heart. Without your support over the past 4.5 years, this acquisition would be impossible. And it was your support on Patreon and through streaming our new film, Dear Kelly, that made this whole thing possible. So if you rented that, thank you very much.
All gas, no brakes, baby!
We are almost ready to hit the road. As you guys can see, the RV is not exactly in tip-top shape. Still got some loose wires hanging out, some dust blowing through this, whatever you call that, screen door. There's obviously some mechanical wear and tear, but we got the homie Don on the case out here in Apache Junction, Arizona. He's been working on this bad boy for the past couple weeks, refurbishing this hunk of junk into something special, and he's almost done, so this summer, we'll be back. I'm excited to get back on the road and kind of rebuild what was lost. I know some of you guys are probably thinking, wait a second, if Channel 5's doing so well, why would you relaunch All Gas No Brakes, bro? That show's old as hell. Which is a fair point. However, All Gas 2.0
true.
will be a bit different than Channel 5. If you've been following the recent work, you may have seen that Channel 5 has pivoted a bit toward like political and breaking news topics, which I think is a good thing.
I'm at the Free Luigi rally. Can you tell us about your sign?
Yes, government recognized terrorism. MLK, Nelson Mandela, Gandhi, Luigi Mangione.
As a poor person ever gave you a job? I've never gotten a job from a poor person. I've worked for large companies. I've worked for myself.
Shut up, Elon! Go home, Elon!
However, for all gas, I want to stay more away from the politics and more toward just the American culture deep dives.
Are you scared yet?
Bro.
No.
Elon!
Companies. I've worked for my.
Luigi Mangione.
As a poor person ever gave you a job? I've never gotten a job from a poor person. I've worked.
I hate America, man. I hate America. I hate America. I hate this country. I hate America. Oh my god.
Worked for large companies. I've worked for myself.
Shut up, Elon! Go home, Elon!
However, for all gas, I want to stay more away from the politics and more toward just the American culture deep dives.
Are you scared yet?
No, are you scared?
No.
To attain your epic ass, can you describe your exercise regime?
I rub the limes in my eyes, and you bang your head on the fucking table.
It's my second time breaking my neck.
What the mud is going on?
Subcultural deep dives on the American fringe. I'm gonna go on road trips, meet interesting people,
That'd be kind of cool to like hook up with an alien.
eat food I've never ate before. A fire fest could be good. Crypto conference maybe. Let me know in the comments. You know, I'm down for pretty much anything.
Channel 5 Live Worldwide, Hollywood and Vine.
Fuck the authority. Channel 5 News.
Channel 55. We don't fuck with custers. And 5 is the best number.
Nice. Well, cool. He owns it again. That is good, man. All right. So let me find a video for you guys real quick. Dude, All Gas No Brakes is a really good
All right,
YouTube
what's your
series.
go-to
It's a
time
classic.
waster? Let's be honest.
Let's see if I can find a good video real quick. Let's do the playlist. Let's go to video games. Now I need to put this one in video game music, but
Video games that were recalled. Ready, set, go. Over the years, there have been interesting cases of video games that would be set up to release just to be recalled after its launch or right before the game was supposed to hit store shelves. And there are some wild stories and examples of things like this happening, whether because of a national tragedy that something in the game accidentally could spark a controversy, or in some cases because of a marketing disaster or a massive flaw in the game itself. But Luke and I sat down to try to gather some of the most notable and wild examples of this happening decade to decade, and things just get really weird after a while. Let's go back and start at the late 80s, 1988 to be exact. George Michael's Faith was topping the charts, and George H.W. Bush just won the election, and at the same time, a game called The Race Against Time just released in April. This was an interesting adventure game developed by Codemasters, and it was designed as a tie-in for the Sport Aid charity event, where players control Omar Khalifa, a Sudanese runner traveling across 6 continents to light torch bowls and raise flags. The game featured side-scrolling mechanics with iconic landmarks like Buckingham Palace and the Sydney Opera House, and players navigated hazards like falling bricks, collapsing bridges, and extinguishing rain. You gotta collect hourglasses to get extra time, and if you were successful, it all culminated in a final torch event in New York to kick off Sport Aid. And this game also was, a tie-in to raise awareness and funds for the famine relief in Africa, capitalizing on the charity's event's global significance. Now, what's interesting is that this game was intended to try to raise £1 million for charity, but they ended up running into rushed timelines and limited production resources, meaning development maybe wasn't the smoothest. The game still would release in April of 1988 for the Amstrad CPC, Commodore 64, and ZX Spectrum platforms, and the packaging featured Jesse Owens, who was a famous athlete. However, Codemasters failed to secure the rights to use this image, and Owens' estate ended up objecting to the game's release after its release, which ended up forcing a recall of the game. So then they ended up having to republish the game with a new cover, and the new cover featured Carl Lewis, who allowed his likeness to be used for free. However, there was a lot of damage from this game getting recalled because this kind of hampered the hype of the game and the publicity efforts, and just it affected the visibility overall during the height of the Sport Aid campaign when the game would have been the most relevant. So as this was all going down, the game also got mixed reviews. It was praised for its concept, but the gameplay, the visuals, and just some of the other stuff weren't really the best. Ultimately, the game ended up selling only 25,000 copies, which was far below the expectations that the game had, and Sport Aid was already financially strained. They did not recover the anticipated funds, leading to a reported £2 million debt, and to this day, the Jesse Owens controversy surrounding this game became one of the biggest marketing disasters of gaming in the 80s. And while that was a big example in the 80s, the 90s had quite a bit of things also going on that would see games get recalled. But things really come to a head in the 2000s. But let's look at the 90s first. Do you guys remember the original movie Fantasia that was like Disney, and there's music and Mickey Mouse and all sorts of stuff? Well, there was actually a video game based on this movie that was released in 1991 for the Sega Genesis, developed by Infogrames. And I didn't say that wrong. There is an R in that developer's name. The game is pretty straightforward. You play as Mickey Mouse as the sorcerer's apprentice. It's a side scroller. You go through the level, you collect musical notes, and while there's only 4 levels in this game, they're all based off of ideas or areas from the first Fantasia movie, at least loosely. But here's the thing, this game maybe wasn't supposed to be developed in the first place. You see, Sega had already done a deal with Disney in the past. They released Castle of Illusion, and that game was actually pretty successful. So Sega was like, hey, let's do it again, but with Fantasia, because that's known, and it's like the 50-year anniversary at this point. It's weird to think that the 90s were, in fact, just 50 years disconnected from the 1940s. But 1991 was kind of a weird year. They had a Sonic the Hedgehog game releasing that summer, but they needed a game that would release in, the winter time to get ready for Christmas. So Sega kind of put a tight development schedule in place, and the studio had to replicate ideas from the animation and music, but, they had to make the music for a 16-bit console. Still in 1991, they showed the game off at CES, and it was also showcased at the Tech Toy launch. But here's where things get kind of weird with this one. So the game was kind of rushed out for the holiday season. The game did not receive well. It got pretty bad reviews and was deemed a massive disappointment by some outlets. But more specifically, Roy E. Disney, who was the nephew of Walt Disney and son of Roy O. Disney, was a longtime executive also for the Walt Disney Company. And apparently Sega got complaints from Roy E. Disney himself over the existence of this game, who he apparently made a promise to his uncle Walt. He means Walt Disney, but to name drop it that way is crazy. But he made a promise to Walt himself that Fantasia adaptations would not be made. And as it turned out, the licensing agreement between Sega and Disney was granted as an error or an oversight on Disney's part. And at Disney's request, they asked Sega to pull the plug, and sales of the game were to stop. Every unsold copy of the game would need to be destroyed. There was apparently 5,000 copies floating around, and Sega would have to cease every advertisement that they had put out there for the game as well. It's wild to think that there was such a big effort to stop this game from making any money after the fact that it released. And remember, this game did not sell well. Actually, Mega placed the game at number 6 on their list of top 10 worst Mega Drive games of all time. And while the game's plug was pulled, it didn't stop the game from getting out there to retailers. And to this day, you can go on eBay and pick up a cartridge of this game for $15 to $20 USD. So it's not like it became a super rare game with the game being pulled from stores. By the time the game was recalled, most people who were going to pick up this game probably had already picked it up. Now, I do think it's interesting that Roy Disney was like, there's not supposed to be any adaptations of Fantasia. Why did we greenlight this? Why did this happen? Because at the same time, Roy Disney himself had already began production on what would become Fantasia 2000. As early production already started in 1990, 1990. So maybe at this point, he just didn't want the whole like Fantasia brand tainted by this bad video game release. And it wasn't really about some promise that he had made because he was already working on a sequel. I mean, that's like an adaptation, right? That's like a newer version, let alone the fact that they re-released Fantasia like 15 times at this point. And mind you, this was a new Fantasia project after a project that was already greenlit and worked on for a while in the 1980s had been shelved recently in favor of Mickey's Christmas Carol. Fantasia 2000 released in 1999. The same year the Pokemon movie released. And I do have vague memories of seeing this movie in theaters. I mean, I don't remember very many movies I saw as a very young kid, just a handful. Mulan, Madeline, and the Rugrats movie. I don't know, I have vague memories of seeing Fantasia 2000 in theaters. And then after that, they tried to work on a third Fantasia movie, which had the working title of Fantasia 2006. That ended up getting shelved in 2004, and that was it. Also, just to prove even more so that the whole like Fantasia adaptation not supposedly supposed to be a thing, be about still being a thing that was just weirdly applied just for Sega, is that in 1983 there was an Atari game based on Sorcerer's Apprentice that was greenlit and made. The game appears multiple times and referenced in Epic Mickey. There's Fantasia stuff in the Kingdom Hearts series. And there was a game called Fantasia Music Evolved for the Xbox Connect in 2014. And then that features Queen and Bruno Mars in it also, for whatever reason.
In November of 1994, Disney's animated storybook The Lion King released, and it was developed by Media Station and published by Disney Interactive, as you could have guessed, I guess. It was an interactive storybook that was designed for children aged 3 to 8 and allowing them to engage with the Lion King, cast and, the different animals through point-and-click minigames and stuff like that. Upon release, it was discovered that this game had significant major technical issues that prevented a lot of people from playing the game and went as far as blue screening systems. So, there would be like a little 3-year-old trying to play this game, and all of a sudden the computer gets a blue screen of death, and the child probably started crying or something. I don't know what kids in the 90s did, probably cry a lot, right? Since this game was released during the holiday season, obviously a lot of people picked it up, and a lot of families were unable to run this game on their new computers at the time. And even if you had one of the top computers, there's still a high chance this game would crash your whole system.
Wah, wah.
There was like the news stories going around that Disney was killing Christmas with this bad game at the time, and it's actually kind of funny. After Disney acknowledged these issues, they initiated recalls, and you were able to just order a revised version of the game that was more compatible.
Have you guys ever heard of Sonic Blast Man? No, it's not a Sonic the Hedgehog game, it's this guy. Kind of a big figure in some arcades across the United States, and this game series was developed by a studio known as Taito, a pretty big Japanese company actually. The game's pretty simple. There's a big old target on the arcade and you punch it, and that's how you play the game. Every target has a different number of tons of resistance or whatever. The game has a pair of gloves you're supposed to wear, and you punch the punch pad and you get 3 hits, so you gotta make it count here. You finally get to feel like the hero. You get to help this woman who's being assaulted. There's a baby carriage getting pushed into the middle of a freeway. Oh no. I don't know, there's terrorists, a giant crab, and an asteroid also featured in this game. But this game ended up getting its own plug pulled, where Taito ended up straight up removing the arcade from various arcades. But 5 years after the launch of the game, there was some controversy around it. The US Consumer Product Safety Commission decided to go after Taito of America Corp., alleging that the company failed to file a report required by the Consumer Product Safety Act regarding a potentially dangerous defect in 370 Supersonic Blastman video game arcades. In turn, Taito ended up agreeing to pay a civil penalty of $50,000, and all this stemmed from Taito apparently failing to report over the periods of 1991 to 1994 70 cases where young players fractured or injured their wrists and arms as a result of hitting Blastman's punching pads. As a part of the settlement that Taito agreed to pay the penalty on, they denied any wrongdoing or even mentioning that Blastman could be defective or unreasonably dangerous. They also denied that they knowingly violated the report requirements. And ultimately in 1995, they voluntarily recalled the game and compensated the owners and distributors for the arcade games. I'm just curious, if you were one of the 70 people who may have fractured or injured your wrist on this game back in the day, please leave a comment. I just want to know what your life is like nowadays. Let's move on to another one.
In 1997, the developer Bizarre Creations released a game called Formula 1 97. Why would would they do 97 if they released it in 97? Shouldn't they do 98?
Ask Microsoft Flight Simulator releasing Flight Simulator 2024 at the end of 2024, and then the game wasn't even ready.
It's still not ready, right?
It's a mess.
Anyway, so they released this game, and I guess they didn't check with their lawyers because the game's packaging had the FIA logo, the Fédération Internationale des Automobiles. It's like a French thing, I can't pronounce it. But it had the logo on the box, and they didn't get the authorization to use the logo. So they used a copyrighted logo on the packaging that they didn't have any rights to. So obviously there was legal issues, and they had to recall all the copies of the game that were out there. This took actually 6 weeks before they started doing this, so a lot of copies were actually sold and distributed since they were so slow on issuing the recall. They actually would go on to get sued by the FIA, even though they did the recall, and the court did ultimately side with the publisher. They were allowed to sell the game again, but without the logo this time. So obviously, I don't know, I guess when you release a game you should make sure you have all the rights to logos that you put on the box, but hey.
The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, often deemed as one of, if not the best video game ever. And I mean, it was a pretty big deal back in the Nintendo 64 days. But did you know Ocarina of Time still had its own little controversies that caused Nintendo to, shuffle some things around a bit? Now, back in the day during the Nintendo 64 era, Nintendo couldn't just patch a game or, do a little update, everyone downloads it, boom, the game's good to go. When stuff like this happened, they would have to straight up do a re-release, or if they weren't doing a re-release, they would essentially update the game and all future versions of the game would be updated moving forward, which is what Nintendo chose to do in the case of Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Now, there's actually 3 different versions of Ocarina of Time that are floating out there. Interestingly enough, in the original 1.0 and 1.1 versions of Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, there was some controversy surrounding the music that was used in the Fire Temple. It seems like the Fire Temple's music contained religious-themed vocals from the Muslim faith. One line translated into English states, "I bear witness that there is no God but Allah." So when version 1.2 would release for the Nintendo 64 in an updated cartridge later on and all subsequent re-releases, the song would actually be replaced with what seems to kind of be like a remix of the original Shadow Temple music. The new song doesn't have any lyrics or words to it, just some moaning. This ghostly female singer moaning. Take a listen.
Oh.
Also, in the Nintendo 64 versions of the game, all of the versions, there's the crescent moon and star symbol that are present on the mirror shield and in a couple of other places. This ended up being switched out in the later GameCube release of the game. It was replaced with this diamond-shaped symbol instead that was used in Majora's Mask. Probably they're trying to, clear themselves of any similarities or resemblance of symbolism from Islam, especially because the symbol's supposed to represent Ganondorf, who's a bad guy, and they didn't want to make this whole accidental antagonistic statement about certain religions in the context of a Legend of Zelda game. There was a couple of other interesting things in the original version of The Legend of Zelda. Ganondorf has red blood. However, with the ESRB cracking down on things, they're implementing the new rated E for everyone thing. Nintendo decided to update the blood to be green instead of red, probably to try to keep that rating and also kind of keep their, kid-friendly image that Nintendo was really kind of strict about back in the 90s. There are other little things, but it seems like the initial reason that Nintendo stepped in and changed Zelda between version 1 and version 1.1 was mostly just because of bugs and glitches, which wasn't too uncommon back in the day when bugs and glitches would be found out about, especially in a popular game like Zelda. They would just reprint the game with an update. But the later version, 1.2, did have more dramatic and more game-changing changes within that version of the game.
Actually, there's another game that I remember that had a similar issue or a similar reason for a recall, and that game was called Kakuto Jojin Back Alley Brutal, which was a Microsoft Game Studios published game that was supposed to compete with Tekken and Virtua Fighter at the time, right? And it was directed at mature audiences, it was supposed to be brutal and fist fighting, that good stuff. The game actually featured a Middle Eastern stage, and in the background theme you could hear similar Islamic chants at the time, and obviously the inclusion of these verses was deeply offensive to Islamic groups and stuff like that.
Fight.
And so Microsoft issued a recall for the game and would start reprinting the game and recall all unsold copies. Now, they actually would not reprint this game, I think. And I think this game was also not that well received in the first place. So I guess they just decided to cut their losses at this point and just be done with Kakuto Jojin. When I was looking into this, I read that like they just sampled some of these
back,
like
but I'm gonna be
Islamic
eaten for
sounding
just like a minute or
chanters, and
two.
they didn't even like listen to what they said, right? So they had no idea what they were putting in the game, and they just showed up in the background track somewhere. And people found out, and then, you know.
That's kind of, as I assume, what also happened with The Legend of Zelda with the chants. I don't think Nintendo was originally trying to put like passive, like Muslim prayer into the Fire Temple. I think it likely was a sample that contained lyrics that, if you don't know what it is, you don't know what it is. Similarly, Little Big Planet from 2008 ran into a similar issue where one of the tracks used in the game had expressions from the Quran in it. But that ended up instigating a recall of copies of Little Big Planet from retailers to avoid offending Muslims and give the developers time to remove the lyrics. This actually resulted in the overall release of the game getting delayed because the game had already gone gold. Retailers had the game, and then they had to, like, you know, reprint the game. It's interesting. Back in 2008, I felt like they probably had the technology to update the game with a patch, but at the same time, it wasn't very commonplace. Nonetheless, Little Big Planet did still have 2 patches released around the time of the launch of the game. One of them was removing the lyrics from the song also. So I don't know if they like reprinted some versions but still issued a patch to make sure that all versions across the board were the same. It's a little bit of a gray area as to what exactly happened. Or maybe they recalled the game to make sure they had the patch ready and then the game still came out after the delay. I don't know. It's a little confusing with how the timeline adds up and what we can find out about it and exactly what content was in the patches. But nonetheless, it was a similar issue that resulted in Little Big Planet getting recalled also.
We got one last game from the late 90s that was released in 1998, and that is Tiger Woods 99 PGA Tour Golf. We're back to naming the game the year that it's, not the year that it's coming out, but the next year. So, you know, we're back on track here. This game, you know, classic golf game, you know, Tiger Woods PGA games, I don't know. They've been the same for the last 20 years, 20, 30 years. I don't know. They still make them, right? I think they still do. I feel like I see them sometimes.
They might take a break in between some releases, but they're around. And to be fair, they're not literally the same game every year. There's slight changes year to year.
Yeah, what I meant by that is you hit the golf ball and then you try to go into a hole, and it's video game form. So that's all I meant, you know what I mean? Like how FIFA is like you try to kick the ball into the goal for the last 25 years. I mean, that's just how the sports works, but you know what I mean. It's not like there's some crazy gameplay invention every time.
Why was it recalled, Luke?
Sorry. It was recalled because the game disc included a file called zzDummy.dat on the PlayStation disc, and if you access this via PC, it contained a file called The Spirit of Christmas, which was an early uncensored short film by Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the creators of South Park. And obviously, you can't have pilot-type South Park stuff on your E-rated game, and you know, so they had to recall it and reissue the game without that episode on it.
So that's interesting. So it wasn't something accessible in the game itself, but it was something just like in the files that was found.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of reminds me of that file on Halo 2 Vista. Remember that?
Right. They had a similar issue where Halo 2 Vista ended up being a really expensive recall because of a .as file. It was an error file that was in the original Bungie Halo 2 that if something in like the debug menus would happen, the error message would come up on like development Xboxes. And for whatever reason, the company porting Halo 2 for PC didn't look through, I guess, all of the files, and that error message ended up making it into Halo 2 Vista's retail version of the game. And interestingly enough, while those files wouldn't have been accessible on the original Xbox, on the PC it's a lot easier to access, and that caused this huge, massive issue with Halo 2. I wonder if that cost Microsoft so much money that by the time Halo 3 was done with development, they were like, you know what, let's just not even do PC. And because I think Halo 2 cost them so much money to do the whole Vista thing.
It took them like 12 years to play through on PC, right? Back to the Tiger Woods game. EA had to recall like over 100,000 copies of this game, which is like it's a ton, I guess, for the late 90s, right? And that probably cost them a ton of money.
That is a lot.
This kind of also like it's a little bit ahead, something we're going to talk about in the 2000s, but I'll talk about now. But it is kind of similar to the situation that also happened with Grand Theft Auto San Andreas and the infamous Hot Coffee mod, which was like a sex minigame that was not enabled in the game itself. It was in the files, but with modifying the game files through the PC, you could access the minigame, which resulted in the game getting an AO rating, which most stores, video game stores across the board back then, had strict policies about not selling AO rated games in their stores, which meant the game would be recalled everywhere, and ultimately Rockstar would have to reprint the game, removing the minigame altogether. And the Hot Coffee mod would be only ever referenced again in little Easter eggs in later Grand Theft Auto games, but never actually featured in a game. Also, in this video, we can't show anything even remotely close to the Hot Coffee mod because one time we got a video, video taken down because we had pixels censored on the screen.
I made it look like that Kanye cover with the pixelated thing in the middle, like the red cover, you know what I mean? And it still got taken down. You know, the video still got taken down. We had to re-upload it. That's actually crazy, you know? They're so strict on it.
Yeah, it's a little silly because we had a whole thing censored.
I don't even think you could tell the movement on Carl, you know, or anything, you know what I mean? It's just pixels, and somehow it's still detected. I don't know.
It was literally the most tame video game sex scene I think out there. It had to have been in like the, you know what I mean, for like everything was covered already.
Yeah, they were just try-humping.
They definitely were clothed, I think, mostly or partially. It was very uneventful. I was very disappointed to watch it. I was trying to watch it for the art of it, and it just wasn't good.
So, since we're in the 2000s now, I'm going to talk about the first game that was recalled and released in the 2000s, and that was WWF No Mercy, which released in November of 2000. Now, during that time, wrestling had an all-time peak in popularity. It was like the end of the Attitude Era. You had like The Rock being like a mainstream character. You had Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, The Undertaker, all those people. If you watched wrestling in the 90s, you probably remember all this stuff they used to do back then. And No Mercy was a sequel to the WWF WrestleMania 2000 game for the N64. And people already liked the WrestleMania 2000 game a lot, so a ton of people were excited for this one to release. Now, when the game released, the early copies of this game had a critical issue with save data, and players were not able to save 99% of the time, which just completely wipe your data. So you were not able to progress through the game and save. So you either had to play the game in one sitting, I guess, or just lose your save file every time. This glitch was so widespread that DHQ would issue a recall for all the affected cartridges, and people were able to send in their cartridges and I think return it to some retailers and get a updated version of the game. Despite these big issues, this game is still considered one of the best wrestling games of all time, and has a huge cult following actually, and people still enjoyed this game a lot. So I guess if the game is really good, people are willing to forgive stuff like this.
Was that the game where you could like climb out of the ring, reach into the crowd, and like pull a chair or like a trophy out and then beat the other person down with it?
Mm-hmm.
I remember that game. It was kind of fun.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a banger. Yeah, but hey, I guess if you had an early copy of the game, it wasn't that much of a banger. But
there was a Spider-Man game in the early 2000s released. It was kind of good. It was for the PlayStation 1. I mean, I think it was kind of good. People liked it. The sequel, which was called Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro.
Hey, yo.
Crazy name choice. This game was recalled. Not for the reasons you would think with a name like Enter Electro, but because of 9/11.
No.
Sorry, I'm not trying to make light of 9/11, but just like the whiplash from the reasoning behind this thing getting recalled is insane. Essentially, the big finale of this game would have taken place on top of the World Trade Center, where you'd have like the big final battle. But the game was set to release on September 18th, 2001. So following the September 11th attacks, Activision chose to delay the release of the game, and they wanted just to remove all of the references to the World Trade Center altogether. The game got pushed back an entire month, which really isn't that much to like completely rework a bunch of content, but that's what they ended up doing. They replaced the World Trade Center with two generic, unnamed buildings, towers in New York.
I feel like that's kind of weird, no?
It honestly looks exactly the same, except they added a bridge at the roof connecting the two to make it look like it's a slightly different building. They also renamed the names of like 4 levels. The levels are originally called Crash Flight, Downward Spiral, Aces High, and Top of the World. They renamed all those to Wind Tunnel, the Corkscrew, the Gauntlet, and the Best Laid Plans. Somehow, the pre-9/11 version of the game did end up leaking online around 2015. Someone said that they were able to source it from the childhood copy of the game, so maybe there were pirated versions already circulating pre-launch of the game before the recall could catch them, and then later it surfaced online 15 years later.
I wonder if it's one of those things where store got a copy early and then like didn't send it back.
Yeah, maybe, or some store got it early and started making pirated copies of the game. Nonetheless, there aren't any sources verifying that this like supposed August release is a thing, but you can see like what the original game was supposed to look like now online. It's leaked out there.
Samurai Showdown 5 was a classic arcade game in Japan, and in 2004, a version for the Neo Geo AES, standing for Advanced Entertainment System, was supposed to release. The original Samurai Showdown V game was pretty popular because of its brutal like finishers and, you know, just like kind of like the Mortal Kombat type charm, right? Like just very gory overall. And when they promoted the game to release on the Neo Geo AES, they did not talk about the fact that this release would be heavily censored and all the gore and all the finishers were cut in this version. So upon release, fans discovered this and were pretty upset about this. The game was also rushed and unfinished. I think they tried to push it out before the holiday season of that year, and that led to a lot of fans just being more and more upset with the game. And they started recalling the game and releasing a fixed uncensored version with the uncensored fatalities. They didn't produce a lot of those copies. It's actually really hard to find a re-released uncensored version of this game because in the first place the Neo Geo AES wasn't a very popular console because I think it was very expensive at the time, so not a lot of people picked it up. But I mean, I don't know, people still liked the game once it was fixed and once the fatalities and the gore were back in. But yeah, it's just like kind of a niche little story that probably, I don't know, nobody in the West ever heard of.
I have a real yikes game that I wanted to talk about for this video.
A real yikes game? How more yikes can it get?
It's pretty
I think
yikes.
it's about
I'm gonna be
time
honest.
to get back to gaming.
Okay.
The Guy game
Oh,
was
this
like,
game,
PlayStation
dude.
2 and Xbox
This
game
is
that released
bad.
in 2004. It was essentially an adult video game that had circumvented the rating system and was able to
Okay. Oh, let's get back on the game. Dang, that was 30 minutes. My apologies. That was quite a while. Wow, but I feel so much better. Oh. No, come on, dude. Work. Work. Oh, I should have bought some yerba mate while I was out. I'm getting a little tired. Oh, I hit the cancel button by accident, though. I hate when I do that. Oop. One more time. Hey, there we go. Yo, yo, thank you. Okay, let's do a few things. Oh, thank you, thank you. I forgot. Boom. Alright, we're good. Hmm? Oh. Oh, wait. Is it... Aha! Okay, wait. Can I do... Oh! We finally figured it out. Okay. 2, 3, 4. Oh, you can make currant flower wine? What? Wow, there's a lot of options. That's really cool. All right. I think that about does it for me for today. Thank you guys for coming by. We're going to raid the big old Simply again. I'm getting really tired. I kind of want to go lay down and take a little bit of a nap before I go to work. Maybe go lay out in the sun, honestly. That's also, like, super tempting. Thank you, Snake, and everybody for coming by today. Let me go to my channel real quick on Twitch so that way I can make sure to hit the raid button. I'm getting tired as heck, man. I might get on in like an hour or two, Snake, again on the server, just to let you know. I might play a little bit again before work. And I'll probably play again after work. But it'll probably be overnight for you. But much love, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Peace.